Happy Tuesday.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Hola, hola.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good. Good.
That's how we started. Okay.
Oh, shoot. Is
Okay,
that a
okay.
margarita?
It is.
Uh,
It's been a long morning. How are you guys doing?
How are you?
I'm good.
yeah,
I'm
great.
in the airport at the airport lounge. So
Ooh,
VRG outside
love
on the
it.
go.
Love
How
Nice.
it.
are you
Corner
guys doing?
downstairs.
We're good.
Good.
We're
You
good.
sit up downstairs.
We're
You
good.
picked it. I don't know why you picked out there.
It's,
That is your
uh,
choice.
sound
Mm,
conflict. Well,
whatever you
Yeah.
say. All right. So who's starting us off?
Yeah. So, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. VRG outside. We're here. We're live. Commercial real estate. We're moving and shaking. Cynthia's on the way to expand the empire. We're here holding down the fort. And we just want to have a conversation looking at kind of the change in, I don't want to say change in weather yet because it's still a little cold in New York City. But I can say that since we jumped an hour ahead, it does feel brighter for longer, which is always good. So we appreciate that. I do feel tired. I do feel like we definitely lost time in general, but we are grateful for, I guess, more sunlight during the working, waking hours. So that's good. How do we feel about the change, guys?
listen, the only reason I know it's Tuesday because you said it's Tuesday. So that is my take on that. Um, I never like daylight savings, so my body does not do well.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally see it. And
Well,
Cynthia.
besides me having my margarita at 11:53 a.m., um, daylight say, well, obviously this is me back from COVID. COVID,
Yes, welcome back.
2025. Don't let them tell you there is no such thing as COVID because there's 100% COVID. I don't know. I feel like there's been a bit of a lull in the city over the last few days, just because obviously we have some holidays, we had some schools were out, so families were traveling. So it's been a little quiet, but we still got to do what we got to do every day, no matter what. So we outside,
Yeah, yeah. I
no
think
matter how tired we are.
yeah, it was definitely quiet. And then I guess Sunday we had the half marathon, which I had the pleasure of
Oh
running
yeah,
in,
how
which was
was it?
nice. It was
Christian
good. It was
ran,
good.
right?
Yeah, I ran. Yeah, we did an hour and
He's the
48 minutes, which
adventurous
was
one of us.
Yeah.
good.
Well,
Yeah.
Iliana too. I'm the only lazy one.
Yeah.
I'm not
No, it
doing
was really nice.
none of that stuff.
I think there was a lot of people who were outside who were excited to get back into the swing of, outdoor activities, which kind of leads me to the topic of today, which is the question, how do we feel about commercial spaces and businesses that have what we think of or can consider seasonal, that seasonal element to them? So I'm talking about like my coffee, not coffee, my ice cream shops and my like outdoor activity based stores or anything that where people feel as though that's more of something that I'll do in the summer or in the winter, or I'll go to the outdoor indoor concept or places that have the garage door opening. What do we think about those type of businesses as we see the sunlight coming out, as we see that lull going away, and then people coming more into what truly is outside in New York City? What do we think, and what is advice to business owners who look to open things in that kind of space, especially our ice cream shops, our matcha shops, and stuff like that?
Well, I love seasonal businesses because I always get to see kind of how they transform. I mean, just because you're an ice cream shop doesn't mean you can't diversify your offerings in the winter or in the, in the spring. I've seen ice cream shops where they partner with pastries and they create this new pastry. And I kid you not, I'm the type of person that likes eating ice cream in the cold. And that's why I gain weight in the winter. So when an ice cream shop combines with a pastry shop and just diversifies their options like that, I find that great. Just because it's a seasonal quote unquote business doesn't mean they can't transform through the year.
Very nice.
Iliana is the same person that tried to talk me into eating
Yep.
carbs when I'm trying to lose weight
Right. Yeah. Interesting theory.
before my workout. My French fries. I think what's happening as far as trends is that businesses are trying to not have as much seasonality. I mean, Christian, you're a driver. You don't only go to your car washes in the summer. Like, yeah, the
Exactly.
lines are longer in the summer, but if you're a car enthusiast or you love and appreciate your vehicle, you're gonna maintain it year round. You know, obviously we know there's ice cream wars, but a lot of these gelato shops and these like boutique patisseries and things like that, they're seasonal. They're not seasonal, they're year round, and you're gonna go and you're gonna get your little pastry. And Anita Gelato has lines, obviously they're gonna be more exuberant in the
In the summer.
summer, but you can go year round. Like my hairdresser, it's around the corner, and many times I'll leave in the wintertime in the evenings or the late afternoon. Even if it's a sunny day, people want an excuse to get a treat. People want an excuse to get out there. I feel like the truly seasonal businesses may be like tax businesses, but again, like tax professionals still do business taxes in other parts of the year. So is there really seasonality, to businesses nowadays, or people trying to master the art of having a year-round business? Like, for example, I'm at JFK right now. There's been a big push for Coney Island to become a destination. Now, just like we all go to South Beach in Miami and we sit and we have a cocktail on the waterfront and things like that, do you really want to do that in Far Rockaway?
Nah. Nah.
That's what New York City wants us to do. New York City wants us to, transition it into a destination location. We have a client that's obviously opening a cannabis dispensary right on Surf Avenue in Coney Islands. Does it mean his business is going to be completely shut down in the winter? No. It may be more thriving in the summertime when there's a higher density of the population, but do we truly have four seasons anymore? Or do we pretty much only really have the bone chilling cold from January to March, and then the rest of the season it's kind of bearable?
Yeah, no, that is true. I think that's a good point. I think the beauty of being in major metro cities like New York City and Atlanta, for example, these places they're always gonna pull people no matter what. You don't have to. It's not like a Myrtle Beach where it's like really popping in the summer and then during the other times like we're begging to get people to come there. So you're always having people there. You have residents and you have tourists. And so I guess just diversifying, like you said, Iliana, your offerings for your business are going to allow people to come, even though they're not necessarily thinking about it. But at the same time, you're still going to get people, if you have a good product, that are going to come no matter the weather. There are definitely people who love ice cream in the winter because it's like their little cup of summer. It makes them remember the warmer times, or it's just a good treat. It's a good dessert, so it really doesn't matter. And a great point about the car wash. Definitely going to go to the car wash no matter what. Of course, I'll let it run a little bit longer in the winter with the little ash and the snow because I know the snow's gonna come back, but I'm gonna wash the car no matter what. So if you're a car wash owner and you have a good car wash or you have a good monthly program, I'm gonna go to you. So that's all it is. It's like how do you get people to come to you, drive the traffic towards you, no matter the constraint of the weather or anything like that. That's a great way to think about it. Yes, that's awesome. And so I guess for our second topic, I kind of want to talk about. And then it tends to lean to the project we're doing in Atlanta at Skyline Apartments. So there is a huge rise of mixed properties. So that's when you have commercial and residential, and they're even throwing in office spaces as well in these buildings. So you'll have mixed use properties that are going up multiple stories, but the top levels will be reserved for maybe residential. The middle units will be offices, and then the bottom ground floor you'll have commercial. So we're seeing that a lot in New York City. We're seeing it in other cities, states, Philadelphia, Atlanta. So I just want to talk about why that is and what that means for us as commercial agents and what we can tell people who are out there looking to, I guess, get use this trend to their advantage for whether their new ventures or just choosing locations in mind. What do we think?
I think after COVID, as you know, a lot of things changed, and the way we even view our quote unquote work life balance changed. And, these mixed use um, properties, they offer you not only a space where you can live, but also a space where you can possibly work, like, and go downstairs and eat something. So I see these properties that are changing, and I see, like, why wouldn't somebody be interested in living in a space and then going downstairs and working and then going to the ground floor and eating a bacon egg and cheese and then going upstairs? It decreases commute time. And I see this growing trend because, again, after COVID, a lot of people changed the way they work, the way they view work life balance. And that's why I believe there's an increase in that.
Um, I would say development in New York City has been cyclical. So if you guys go back to kind of like historical New York or how Soho was built, do you guys know kind of what the foundation of a lot of the property in Soho are, what the zoning is that limits the ability to develop or go higher in Soho? Why is it not as high as downtown or uptown?
I don't know. Views, maybe? I don't know. Let's know.
Well, there's definitely protections in place around the air rights limitations, but a lot of Soho is live work. So a lot of people don't realize that a lot of these warehouses that are in Soho, that are in um, what is it called, like Tribeca, as well as like Hudson Square, they were all kind of built from these like industrial buildings, and so they were zoned and limited for live work conditions. When I was actually an undergrad, I worked with a woman who was a editor for the New York Times, and her husband had this massive loft, like duplex loft, where the only way they were able to get it is her husband had to run his commercial kitchen out of the front area of the loft. But it was incredible, multi-million dollar like asset. But again, like it was structured that way. But when we talk about development and the trends in development, actually, we are officially in contract for 57 Fourth Avenue after
Yeah.
2.5 years of work. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and for example, with that property, it was originally bought in 1980s. It was a parking lot. And when the owners bought the property, their highest and best use, that's a term we use in real estate, was to build the building. At the time, it wasn't feasible or financially feasible for them to build the 7, 8 story building that they wanted to build. So they built a retail floor with an extension that would allow for development up there. So they kind of built a two staircases in the back that would be have a staircase to essentially nowhere, which would be able to kind of just keep adding on floors.
Mm-hmm.
They did that because of their FAR opportunity in that district, and FAR is floor area ratio is essentially around in New York City, every building has an assigned floor area ratio, and it tells you how high you can go. And you can obviously buy with good money more height, or you can get variances, or you can apply for special permits and things like that. So with this property, the challenging part is that my owners had gotten an offer for $20 million many years ago. And they didn't accept the offer at the time because again, you would think, oh, if I got an offer now for 20, it's probably worth so much more.
Mm-hmm.
So, they held out. But what happens is when you don't accept the offer in a timely manner, you also lose opportunity because there's also development that happens around you. So it also limits the other FAR that may be available to you or accessible to you in a transaction. So now the option became that, they were able to still go up a certain number of floors, but I had to hire a zoning, an architect to do a zoning analysis to identify like, hey, what's the maximum square footage we can go up if we just did residential, like straight residential, no commercial? What's the maximum FAR we can go up if we have a hybrid of residential, commercial, like retail storefront? And then what's the maximum if we add in something called community facility? So like when you're developing, essentially the city tells you like, hey, we'll give you more perks, we'll give you more floors, we'll give you more opportunities if you put in inclusionary opportunities, if you put in community use spaces. So like when you're developing here in the city, like you have to just be creative, right? To me, the developers that are going to succeed in the next 5 years, number one, just have liquidity. It's really, really hard to build right now. There's a limit, or the cost of capital is really high. So people don't build as fast and as high and as quickly as they used to. Also, there's just also issues when it comes to the approval processes. The city, I mean, obviously we're hearing about all of these layoffs in the government. How do you think
Yeah.
that's going to impact our local government? And how do you think that's going to impact the ability to process applications? Like, I mean, all
Mm-hmm.
of us have gone through real estate applications, right? We took our real estate exam, we did it on a Scantron. How long is it before you got your approved and or your
Yeah.
score? It took like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We're in a digital age. It should take 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But, again, our systems are very antiquated, right? So a lot of these systems that are running our governments and running our companies are really old, and they go through the processes. And until you change all of that, you have a lot of limitations. But so that was my long-winded way of saying development, obviously, it really comes down to what people are demanding. Right now, people are demanding a change in zoning. We're in the middle of the city. A lot of the middle of the city has been zoned commercial. They don't let people build residences in all parts of the city. But now we know there's a push to have essentially people repurpose office buildings into residential opportunities
Yeah.
because there is a shortage of housing, and you can't make more land in New York City. But what you can do is change some of the property types, especially these older commercial buildings. They're antiquated. They're just, the quality of them just isn't going to be feasible for the use it was intended for. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times the value of that land is to knock it down and build something new.
For sure.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, there's a bunch of things that we can say. Space is essentially being wasted because it's not no longer fitting the best purpose or the highest and best use that it has. So that's a great point, and that makes a lot of sense. So thank you for that.
Well,
The
as
context
brokers,
behind
like,
it.
I'd be curious to ask you guys, like, as brokers, what is our responsibility in that, right? As brokers, should we be involved in the political climate, in the political action of getting these zonings to be more appropriate? Like, how are we accommodating and making sure the housing that is necessary is being built for obviously we don't do residential, but housing being built means our clients build multifamilies or
right.
convert multifamilies. Like, how do we get involved in the process of transitioning our landscape? Because everything we do today, as we see, like in East Harlem, all these vacant lots, like what's going to happen there in 10 years, 5 years? How is it that we're going to impact the differences that come from?
Absolutely. I mean, educating our clients is one, but not only that, taking the feedback that our clients are saying and somehow bringing it back to the people who have the power, who can make the changes. You know, the great part about being a middleman is you get to see both point of views, middleman, middlewoman, whatever you call it. You get to see the point of view of the people in the community, and you get to see the point of view of the people who are shaping the community. And that's a powerful, powerful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at some point there should be more I guess especially in like a city like New York City, the lobbying power for brokers should be a little bit used with more intention because we do see the way things are trending, what's needed, and it should be about what makes the city move forward. So, like you're saying, understanding that there's a shift away from the traditional use of certain commercial properties to where it can be more inclusive or it can benefit more New Yorkers by incorporating and changing zoning laws. So we do know that New York City, like Zola.com, like those the way that our city is structured, it is very, very antiquated, like you said, and it does cause a lot of issues that unless you're really in the business, you might not know or you just might not be aware of. But they slow down processes in life that we like. If we could just fix this little cog, then the entire machine would move a lot smoother and a lot better. Like we don't understand things like even from the construction and when it comes to getting resources. If these things would move a lot smoother, we wouldn't have, traffic because you wouldn't have this big, huge like scaffolding up for like 6 to 8 months. Like it never makes sense. Like that's the thing I hate the most. When we have scaffolding and it just causes this big dark shadow on a block, and you're just like, why is this thing still here? Like I've seen people build like, in other countries, they can build things in 3 days, and we're here with a scaffold that looks like no one's doing any work, but it's here for like 3 months, and it's causing a dark spot. Now the place smells like pee. Like, it's just a bunch of stuff. And those are the small things. You fix the permitting issue, whatever's holding up that development, whatever, Department of Building violation is causing this thing to stop. Like it causes other issues in the quality of life in New York. So we should think more. I appreciate that question. We should think more about how we can use our knowledge and power to help the entire system in the city. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah. So any announcements? That's all we have for today. Anybody got anything they want to share?
Besides me eating this entire life
We ain't
because I
mad
did
at you.
not have breakfast today.
Wait, which terminal are you in? 4 or 5?
Terminal 4.
Oh, okay.
4.
Ah,
I just
I'm at the Delta
in
Skyline.
mm,
in Terminal 5, I was gonna say if you were there, they have an outdoor garden across from Gate 28. You can go outside. It's the only place in the airport that like you're still past
No,
security,
the
but you're
Delta
outside.
Skyline
Oh, well,
has an outdoor sky.
that one might be me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that
If
card.
you can't get in here, you can't see it though. I'm joking.
Yeah. No, you're not. I didn't get that card yet. Don't worry. Don't worry.
it's coming. It's
I'm
coming.
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I mean, and even with infrastructure, right? I guess before we go out, it's like, what do you think is coming? Like, what do you think? Obviously, there's so much news. Like, I've been staying away from the news, um, out of my own sanity. Like, what do you guys forecast is going to happen in the next 6 to 8 months in our business, given everything that we're hearing and seeing happening?
I think change. I think things will speed up. I actually do. I think that commercial real estate has been a little bit slow. I think that things have been slow in the city, but I think in this like by the summertime, things will move a lot faster than we think. We'll be seeing uh, a lot more movement, a lot more development. There are a lot of things in the work that have been held up for a while, tied to interest rates. Once this entire shift in the government, the tariffs, all of these things that have been essentially distractions, once those things have settled, because I do believe there's a plan happening that we're not aware of, but once it's settled, um, things are going to take off. People are going to get left behind, and anyone who's on the right ship where they needed to be, they're going to soar. So I think that you just got to stay focused and don't let it pass you.
Absolutely. I think there's opportunity for sure. I think you have to decide if you want to ride the wave or stay behind and drown. Um, that's the thing, there's always opportunity. You just have to see it. So I do believe it's going to be picking up as well in the next 6 months.
I think the next 6 months is the most critical, 6 to 12 months. I feel like you should Take your money now, push, hustle as hard as you can possibly do it, because I think there will be a compression. I believe in 12 months when there's um, uh, economic impacts of a lot of the decisions that are being made, a lot of the things that are happening, it might transition the market a little different. So yeah, like 2025, we're outside. We gotta hustle. We gotta close. We gotta connect. We gotta meet people. So we can all really succeed in the next year.
That's right.
Anything else? Let us out. Give us a quote to head out on, Christian.
Um, I think the perfect quote, based off what you just said, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I
Ooh,
think
I like
we need to
I like that.
be ready to move, protect yourself, and stay focused and work every single day. Stay consistent. And that's
I
what we're going to
agree.
continue to do here.
I agree. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for your hard work. Off to Atlanta.
All right. Peace,
that.
safety. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.